Printers literally like is the one thing in modern technology that hasn't advanced past the Stone Age. Like it's fucking trash. Like I don't know. All the technology's going towards like making apps and shit. Like people need to start opening like companies making better printers. Because they like
That's
work
true.
half the time.
Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of Nuanced Nonsense. We're not experts, we just like talking. And today, I brought on my friend Bryan He. He's a senior at UT studying civil engineering, and like we met each other through AACM, which stands for Asian American Campus Ministry, and it's just a ministry we're both involved in. In his free time, he likes to play guitar and like basketball. Is there anything else you want to introduce yourself with?
Just a student that's trying to live my best life in my last year here at UT.
Nice.
Let's get it.
Speaking of your last year, how's college been so far? Like any ups, downs, regrets, things you're proud of?
Well, I think the biggest thing for me, like I've realized, is what you put your time into is like what you get out of it. So for me, I came into college thinking like, oh, Austin is like live music capital, like we about to be like seeing live performers on the street everywhere. It's gonna be like Venice Beach, but obviously it's not like it's not like that. So I came into it thinking like music would be my like biggest thing and like school would be on the side. But what really happened was like I was trying to struggle to get through all my classes, and then whatever time I had left, I put into like doing music, working out, or playing basketball or stuff. So like overall, most of my stuff at school, like you expect, is just like me doing school. But I mean, other people have different experience about that. So what I mean about that is basically like, if I had spent more time on other things, then I would have been better at those things. But then I prioritized school, so I became better at like doing school stuff. And so when I graduate, hopefully like I'll manage my time better and be like, what is really important, like just like what people like my parents or like what society tells me to focus on, just like getting money, or like maybe it's the things that I enjoy. So whatever I put my time into is what I'm gonna get out of it. That's what I think I learned the most from.
So is it a regret that like you wish you spent more time like pursuing music in college, or like going to like more like live music like hearings or stuff like that, or like focusing less on school?
I wouldn't say I regret it, because I feel like that would kind of make me think like, oh, I could never go back, or like I've already screwed. But I think like I just learned that, if I'm not going to put time into it, it's not going to magically happen for me.
Yeah.
So I think like when I graduate, it's not over for me. So I'm like, okay, then I'll just manage my time correctly, not spend overtime at work for no reason, and just like have fun with it. But, you can't change the past. So I would never say I regret it. I have made a lot of friends, and like ministry was great. And like, of course, the schooling helped me get the job that I got. That's going to give me the opportunity to have more free time. So, I can't really complain.
So would you say you lived your life fairly regret-free?
Oh, definitely. Yeah. I don't like to regret, because I just think like all you can do is learn from your mistake and move on with that. And like, honestly, if you don't make mistakes, if you live your life trying to avoid mistakes, then sometimes you don't learn the things that you need to in the time that you're supposed to. That's how I feel.
Sure.
What about the idea that like, so I was watching this video that Alex sent me one time. It was basically talking about the idea that like success comes from like failure. Like you have to fail to succeed, because otherwise it wouldn't like happen.
Right. I mean, if you succeed at first, I feel like you're just lucky.
Yeah.
If you fail a lot of times and you finally succeed, that's hard work, right? That's inevitable, because you're gonna find the right way to do something if you know how to do it wrong 100 times.
What's something that like you failed at multiple times that you feel like you're pretty good at, or you're pretty comfortable with now?
I failed a lot of times. Well, I mean, I guess I would say like all of us know how to like pass tests nowadays, right? Because we failed a bunch of tests in our life, and that's the one thing that we grew up like, which I kind of feel like is a mistake, but that's for another society's point of view. But I'm just like, yeah, all of us are conditioned to all just focus on school, but not a lot of us, at least I feel like, because the Asian parents don't really encourage like having fun outside of school. Okay, that sounds bad. Not like having fun, but like pursuing extracurriculars like seriously, right?
Like not something to like pad up like your resume for college.
Anyways, getting off track from your original question, but like all of us are good at school because why? We failed a bunch of exams when we were kids, and we learned from like, how to work smarter instead of just like grinding it out.
Yeah, so you play the guitar. What type of music do you usually like to play or listen to?
Well, I remember when I first picked up the guitar, that was for worship. But then I started to get into more electric stuff, because acoustic stuff, besides like fingerstyle, which is like playing classical pieces basically on the acoustic guitar, the way to get more like technical and more advanced is like, I believe is like electric guitar and like playing scales and like playing fast. So that kind of drove me. The first phase was to like go into metal. So I was really into like classic metal stuff, like like Metallica, Megadeth, and then that was kind of how I got first into the like playing fast and like heavy music. And then there's like modern stuff nowadays. Like I wouldn't say like I'm an expert on modern stuff. I'm just getting into it, but that's when like they start busting out like 7-string guitars, like 8-string guitars, and like they call it gent. I mean, I've just been like looking into that lately, and I think that's kind of a cool direction. But at the same time, I don't listen to that like casually. I more like listen to that like metal and all that stuff just kind of like to learn. So for me, it was like it's a passion that came from like guitar. It wasn't like I was trying to listen to metal music and then I like started liking guitar.
Interesting.
Yeah, it was like I started liking guitar, and then when I wanted to get better at guitar, I started liking metal because I was like, these songs are hard. Let me go learn these songs to get better at guitar.
Interesting.
So you're interested in like the technical aspects.
Yeah, and then I eventually got into metal because I was like, it's actually pretty cool to listen to. But at first I was just like, let me play some like hard songs,
He said Guitar
Yeah,
Hero.
like Guitar Hero. Like,
Guitar
Through
Hero.
the Fire, whatever, I don't remember what that song
Through the
was.
Fire and Flames, right?
Yeah, that song was pretty inspiring. I couldn't play it 100%, but like, I could play maybe a few parts of it. So that was like something that I thought helped evolve my guitar playing. If I was just playing like the 4 chords for worship music, I don't think I would have gotten better.
That's fair. Do you think like what other types of music do you listen to aside from stuff that like I guess centers around guitar?
Yeah, so I always try to like when I make beats and stuff, I always try to like incorporate guitar because I feel like that's my guitar playing put into my beat, or like it led me to like I want to try like making music on my computer and stuff. But then as a side of that, I like started listening to EDM and like I don't know what it's called, synthwave. Like those like
I know what you're talking about.
lo-fi chill or whatever stuff on YouTube. I was like, whoa, these like when you're listening to it casually, you don't like realize there's a lot of production and like value to behind all these tracks. And like especially the biggest thing I learned was like sound design. When I listen to these songs, I'm like, you can make a note, like a single note, sound amazing versus a single note sound like trash. So
Really?
like that could be the biggest difference between your song being a hit and just like being whack. Because like you listen to like a lot of Travis Scott's beats, it's like there's like just that whatever he finds, like that one sound, or Metro Boomin is a good example too. It's just like that piano or whatever, he like makes the sound good. So like it's not complicated, the melody that they're playing with it, but it's just like when you listen to that sound, you can listen to it over and over because it's so interesting just on its own. So that's kind of something that I found like, or I fell in love with like the production side of it, even though I'm not like a producer or anything.
Quick question though. I know a lot of like people who produce music that don't like know as much about like playing music. They use like a lot of synthetic noises. Like for example, like
that's a skill, like to make this good noise.
Yeah. But like when you like produce beats, do you like use your own guitar noises, or do you like use something that's synthetic already out there?
There's a lot of ways to do it. For me personally, I like to incorporate guitar because I feel like that's actually less common. Like using actual organic instruments. I could be wrong. I feel like most producers, they like use VST plugins, which is like basically synths, like a keyboard, so like already has the sounds in it. But you have to tweak a lot of things. The basic stuff is like the delay, the reverb, and like stuff like that. But then there's also like compression and all this stuff. So like they can make a sound, like bass sound, if you remove all like the effects from it, sound totally different. So I think that is kind of like how you start hearing like futuristic stuff. It's like that's not a real sound. Like nothing makes that sound. It's all like computer generated. But some people do actually process guitars as well. So I think a lot of there's this guy I know. I think I've been listening to this guy called Blue Stolly, which I was like, he's not well known at all. But like I noticed that he processed his guitars on his tracks, and I think he's a good example if you want to see like how people can do electronic music with guitar.
How do you usually discover your music, since you mentioned that this guy is like not super well known like at all?
I think this is weird. I was watching like some gaming montage or whatever. And then like I was like, I think it was like Counter-Strike Go. And he was just doing like nutty one taps, like, and I was like, oh shit. But then I was like listening to music, I was like, dude, this is pretty interesting because it's like EDM metal, but it's also like, okay, wait, that's it. It's EDM and metal. Okay, so I'm like, that's kind of crazy because usually, they're not this, you're not like seeing them mashed up in mainstream music, because people who like EDM, they go to raves, they're probably not like trying to listen to metal music. People who like metal, that's really kind of underground nowadays. I think overall, the like electric guitar distorted sound is dying in like pop music. It's just not popular. People don't like to hear like crunchy like power chords. Nobody wants that.
Yeah.
They want like smooth sounding like synths or like 808s, like boom, like
Yeah.
So for someone to like put that into a modern genre, which is like EDM, I thought that was really interesting.
Fair.
How do the 808s work again? Like I just know like it's pretty common and like like producers using it. I know Kanye like made it pretty popular too with like his album.
He was probably one of the biggest ones to use it. I mean, what I've seen is that it's not really a plug-in, so it's just more like a sound, and then you like tune it. So you'll find like 808 in like A, then like the A note, and then you'll like tune it based on like what note you want to hit. And it's just like one sound. So like if you're really like a pro producer, you'll go and like buy the professionally made like 808 sound. I don't really know how they generate it. I think 808 is like a drum machine. I believe back then it was like an analog drum, like an actual drum machine.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh.
And then like they sampled that sound from the drum machine and like I don't know, they detuned it or like made it really low, or maybe it was already like that. But that's where the name comes from.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. Yeah, because I just hear that name dropped around, and like if you're a producer, like you say it.
Yeah, when I think of 808, all I think of is like the wave file of like
Oh.
an 808. It's like you just it's just a wave file, and then like you play the wave file in your song whenever you want the 808 to go off. But I think what it was before, like in the studio when they were like actually mixing it, they had like a drum machine and they would like hit the 808 like boom boom,
Interesting. So yeah, I guess a lot of like electronic stuff you see today, it's like there's usually like an analog component. Like even with like phones, it's like you say like you would dial the phone, but that's like based off of the fact that back then like you literally had to like dial like an old circus phone. But like now it's just become part of like lingo and stuff.
It's like when people make the songs.
Oh yeah, I never thought of that. Dial of because this is I never thought of that.
Yeah.
Dude, that's insane. I never thought
That's big brain.
I never thought dial was because it was circular, but that's definitely
yeah.
why.
That's literally why. And I remember like I was watching some comedian because like he's old and it was like Louis C.K. or like Bill Burr or something, and he was just like, yeah, like you actually would hate the people who would like had like a 1 or 0 or 2 or 9 because like you actually had to like go the whole way. But now you're just like, oh okay, like I'm just tapping my phone. But yeah, I think it's interesting to see like where all these terms come from too, because like even like coding, it's like if you're writing like a program and you say like there's a bug, it used to be because there was a literal bug in like the computer and that's like stopping it from working. But now everything is like electronic, so now it's just like you have a bug either because like you're stupid and like you didn't think for your program properly, or like it's just like you had a compiler error or something. Yeah.
I also just thought of something. Probably the reason why you heard like that random music in that gaming montage is because there's a lot of like ad like stuff. They're like a lot of copyright things on YouTube, so they don't want to use like more mainstream music.
That could be true, yeah. But I also, I thought, like gamers, they find that kind of music, right?
Yeah, I think so. Like when you
find,
watch
like,
streams,
that drum and bass type of shit.
it's like when you watch streams and they're like, and they have like in the bottom right corner like whatever they're listening to, and it's like really random shit.
Usually, I don't know. It should be like anime openings. It could be literally anything.
You
can discover
there's a lot of
watching gaming videos.
There's a lot of nightcore.
Yeah,
I was
that's
gonna
too. That's too.
Speaking of which, what is your opinion on nightcore? It's just like
what is
sped
the
up.
band like Nightcore? Like M82? Is that Nightcore?
I have no idea.
I think Nightcore is just like
I thought it was just a software that's
it's like
sped
you
things
just
up.
sped you just sped things up. You just speed things up and it's like higher pitch. Well, it's gonna be higher pitched because it's sped up. Yeah.
My opinion on that is, I mean, it's a skill. Like if you can make Nightcore, you can probably make rap beats. Like come on, trap beats. That's much easier probably than Nightcore. So if you're doing that, like maybe you're not gonna get famous doing Nightcore. Maybe you will, but it's like that shows that you have passion for what you're doing.
Fair.
If you're doing something and you're good at it, can't hate on it.
So for you, you're just like as long as the person is like sincere and genuine and like their efforts to do like whatever craft you're doing, like that's all good.
Oh yeah, well, especially like music. I think for me the biggest thing about artists like that I like is like if they just enjoy the music that they're putting out. No shade to Drake, but he puts a lot of like new sounds in his album, so he doesn't have like a specific sound. He used to with like 40, He used to be like his in-house producer, but then he started like when he had Controlla, which is kind of like going on the Jamaican or like whatever, I forgot what that was called, but kind of like the like Latin type beats, and he had that on his like album. I can't remember like, but he basically whatever like new sound is coming out, he like hops on that. Or is he the one that makes that sound famous? I don't know. So it could be either way.
I mean, it's hard to tell, I guess, because
is he the one who sets the trend, or is he the one who follows it? But he's definitely the biggest one who's doing it, so we can't tell.
So do you think Drake is like underrated in your eyes or overrated, or you just think it's just a matter of perspective to you?
No, I don't know if I would say that. I just think that that's just an example of someone whose sound is not like defined. I don't want like I'm not criticizing him or anything.
Yeah,
he's
yeah.
definitely really big.
Mm-hmm.
I guess I just couldn't find like a good example of someone. Besides like Blue Stahli or like M82 or whatever like sound that y'all are going for. I think what I've been listening to is like the Midnight lately. That's like a synthwave band, and that's all they put out is like these retro like 80s sounding like music, and they do have vocals and stuff, but it's like I like the production, it's really slick. But I think like they have a niche, and like a lot of their fans are like, can't wait to hear this on the radio, but I never hear it. It was like that we should make this thing go big, and I'm just like, I mean, just enjoy it while you have it, like, you know. You don't want them to like switch up the sound. Like if you guys like what you hear, then like support that. You know, you don't have to like make them go big.
I guess that's true.
Because it's like that's an example of like a very niche sound. They're not just doing like whatever's hot. They're just doing what they like doing, which is like 80s sound, and they're just going with it.
I guess yeah. It's like I remember I was listening to Tyler the Creator. So like I guess his second latest album, or I guess increasingly his albums have a lot more electronic production. I don't know as much like in depth about like what actually goes in the like thought process behind it, but I knew like traditionally like his stuff is not on the radio, but that's usually because like his lyrics are super like explicit.
Yeah. Like, so he's getting radio play now.
Or like yeah, like I think Earthquake was like pretty like popular. So like especially since I like Playboy Cardi, but I remember like he filmed himself like listening to like See You Again, and it was like one of the lead singles off of Flower Boy, and it was like the first time his music was on the radio, and he was like pretty hyped up about it. But I guess what you bring up too is a good point. It's just like I think since radio is usually like for like the more pop demographic, it's just like maybe like you're losing a little bit of the essence when like you want them to go on the like I guess on the radio versus like if they're just
in
their niche.
If you're just appealing to everyone, then like it's hard to have a distinct sound. But I mean that's not necessarily true either. That's why the best artists are the ones who have their sound, but they're also going mainstream. Like I think Post is a good example of that. You know, some can say like he copies, but I think he really does have his own, like, you know, it's his song when you hear it, right? But he's also really popular. So I think he's a really good artist. And he can play pretty well on guitar too. I've seen him play. He knows what he's doing.
You're like respect.
Yeah, I think he's a real musician.
When you, I guess like you kind of have like diverse music tastes from like metal to, I guess, electronic. Is there like usually, because I know you mentioned how like for metal, it was kind of like you were just wanting to get more like into guitar technically, and then like you just learned to love metal, and then like electronic music you're kind of like making, you're trying to make your own beats on your computer. Is there like is there usually like any other backstory that kind of led you through those processes, or like any other types of music like you've like followed, like maybe like worship or whatever?
Oh shoot. Well, I think the best worship band for me was like Elevation Worship. That's when I was like, this worship band is putting out bangers. Like I was like
bangers.
I was like back to back like songs that I like from them. Like Do It Again. I can't remember the other one. But anyways, that song was fire. Like Hallelujah. I can't remember the names, but I know the song when I hear it. But I was like, wow, that was the first time I was like impressed with one band's like songs. But I don't think it's like good to like put a worship band on a pedestal. But like, why do we do that for like normal bands? I don't know. But,
I mean, maybe it's just like, I think it's like, it's not necessarily like a band, like a music thing either, right? Like you put like an athlete on like a pedestal.
Yeah.
I think it's just like,
it just feels wrong to put a worship band on a pedestal.
I guess that's
Why
true.
is that?
Yeah, I don't know.
I mean, I don't know like what makes a worship band different.
I just like the fact that like nowadays a lot of bands, they can be like theologically incorrect, but like Elevation has never gotten in trouble with that. So I thought that was good. Because Hillsong uses like the OG, but then like lately they've been putting out some stuff that people will criticize for like not being theologically correct. And like I remember Reckless Love was like the biggest song for a while, but then like people didn't like it because they were like, God is not reckless, like he knows what to do. But anyways.
Yeah, I guess like for not Christian listeners, basically, I guess like for most Christians, like I guess worship bands and music, like it's just meant to like kind of show and tell God's love, and like it just helps you like be in that like mood. But I think when you put like the band on the pedestal, it's kind of just like you're kind of like idolizing them basically, and you're kind of like, oh, like they're like we're listening for them and not really for God, if that makes sense.
Oh, so the bands are like a vessel.
Yeah, the bands are meant to be a vessel, so that's why Christian.
It's just really weird. Yeah. Music. That's why worship music bands that actually make money is kind of like a little different, because when your favorite band makes money, you're like, oh, well, it is really like about the artist because it's about what they're expressing. But with worship music, it's like not. It's about them expressing music that's actually supposed to express like worship. That's not supposed to be about them. But when you listen to artists, like it's supposed to be about the artist because that's what they're trying to express.
Yeah, I think that's the reason why, like, even though like a lot of churches are like, I guess they can be run as businesses, or like campus ministries can be run as like organizations. Like they're technically not supposed to be like meant for that. Like they're not really meant to like advance their own growth. Like they're just meant to be like, hey, like this is where you can experience like spirituality and God. But then it's like really hard for that because like they're like the only ones of that type, aside from like other like religious stuff too. So basically it's just like, how much are we really doing this for like ourselves, or how much are we doing like for God?
That's always been tough.
Yeah, I think that's what like kind of when like since I'm like, and I guess like an officer and like my ministry is kind of like, it's hard sometimes because like you want to have like more people, like more numbers and stuff, but like technically like that's not really the point of like why we're doing it. But it's still like your instinct too, you know, because like we're still people. But yeah.
But for worship bands, is it not like, is it a problem that like you're growing because that means more people are listening, right?
I think as long as you don't attribute as long as you don't get big-headed, or you think like, oh, like it's good because of me. Does that make sense?
Oh,
like
it's good because of.
It's good because more people are listening to like, I guess the gospel or the like religious message, right? But I think the problem is like some people like they might get attached to like a certain band, right? Or they might be like, oh, like I think this band, like these two bands are the best. It's like I only really want to listen to them. It's stuff like that. I mean, I don't personally really listen to that much like worship music, but yeah.
Yeah, I think it's mostly just tough because it's like usually religion and anything doesn't mix, but it's like art, so it's, I guess it's fine, but you definitely not gonna have like religion with your like your work being mixed, or like religion with, you know, you open your own business selling like religious artifacts. I don't know, just like music is the one like exception that people are actually like making money off religion, and it's like okay. So I think when that's involved, I would never want to be personally like involved in that, because I feel like it would just get too complicated to like separate. This is my like job, and like this is where the money's coming from, and like this is art as well, and just like trying to mix that with like religion. I feel like it would be just too hard to manage for the average person.
What is your opinion on like colleges that mix with religion?
I personally just don't like anything that's like instituted that's mixed with religion. I would
Oh,
avoid that.
okay.
I would just avoid that because I feel like it's hard to be honest on it.
You feel like you're losing.
Fair.
You feel like it's losing like the essence.
When
and
you're
stuff,
making
right?
money off of religious things, then it's just kind of like, where do I draw the line sometimes? And if it's not like you have to go to religious college or like own a religious business or something like that, you don't have to. So like I don't see like why you would want to, if you could avoid that conflict of interest, you know.
Okay, that's fair.
I guess like kind of like the ideas behind like separation of like church and state, basically. What do you think about like pastors, I guess, because like that's literally like their living and stuff, right? Because like they're literally relying
That's
on
really
like
tough.
tithing, but like I guess for like most religious people, like you still need like a pastor or like a priest or like a monk or something like that, right? But like that's how they generate their source of income.
I mean, we see like some pastors are just doing their job and they're not living exorbitant lifestyles. There's nothing wrong with that. You know, you gotta feed a family, and if it's a full-time, like you're really doing full-time work, then like, you know, you don't have time to like actually earn income otherwise, then yeah, you know, you gotta live, you gotta support a family, you know. But then if you're like Joel Osteen, I just don't think like that's right. it might be get political onto it, but
Yeah.
you know, I'm like,
Wait, who's Joel?
Yeah,
Joel
so
Osteen's like
context
this
is
mega
like
church.
he's a mega church pastor in like Houston.
Yeah,
Like his church is in
lives
like
in a
a
huge house and like off donations. But it's like, I feel like at that point, it can be really difficult to separate like the word from like what you think is gonna gain. You know how you can gain from it. You know, all
Okay.
those, you know,
He's
it's
just-
like too many temptations at that point.
Fair.
Yeah, he's just a little controversial because like he's in like his church is in like a Toyota stadium, like the old Toyota stadium.
Oh, really?
So it's like it's
This was really big.
kind of like the
Yeah.
it's kind of like I think we like tacos before. It's kind of like if you're like say you're an immigrant and you come to America and like the first thing you see like are all these Christians like coming up to you, but it's just like you see like oh they live like these really exorbitant lifestyles, like they just want your money, like it seems like a scam, right? And that's kind of like what a lot of people even in the Christian community view like some of these mega church pastors, right? Like obviously it's not really our place to really say like what they truly feel, but it's like I think coming off like from an outsider's point of view is like how much of this is like I guess like do you really believe and how much of it is just like you're taking advantage of I guess the market in America.
Can't deny the good that comes from it. Like people will probably turn to God, go into that church. I forget what the name of it is. What's it called again?
I don't remember.
Is
It's
it
just
Life?
I just call it Joel Osteen's church.
I've been there. I forgot the name of it.
Yeah.
But I mean,
But even
like,
now, you're
you can't
associating the name with the church.
Yeah, so I guess like in this case like the pastor became bigger than like the church, right? But that happens for a lot from like mega church pastors. But yeah, I guess like kind of related, but like yeah, because like a lot of like pastors like technically they make their livings off of like donations, like tithing. But like, what do you think about like nonprofits and stuff like that? Where like some nonprofits like because everything for like a nonprofit is technically a donation. Like you don't really negotiate any money, and like all the employees are technically off of those donations. But like some nonprofits can be like more shady or not.
Yeah, some nonprofit like owners or whoever, like some can actually be earning a lot of money.
It like just depends on what the purpose is. Like for example, College Board makes income, but they say that it's like it's for the point of like being in operation. Like for example, distributing tests, like grading tests, like yada yada yada.
Yeah. If you think like the CEO of your nonprofit has the management skills necessary to run your nonprofit, and if it weren't for him, then y'all's nonprofit would fall apart, then you have to think of like the opportunity cost of him like running this nonprofit versus like running a multi-million-dollar corporation. If he has those like CEO management skills, that's what I think. Like at first I was like, oh, why is CEO of nonprofit? I don't know what they call them. Is it called CEO?
I don't think
I actually
so.
don't know what
Yeah,
it's like the
so I don't know.
president.
Like you're on an exec board.
Yeah, so like, but they
Yeah.
probably have the skills to run like a actual corporation. So paying them a comparable salary probably isn't, you know, wrong.
It just seems unusual.
Like disingenuous.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Because I know
seems like it, but
maybe it's
you know, not everyone can run a whole organization that's that big.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess I was just thinking about that because, like, kind of when you were talking about like why you didn't feel comfortable with like, I guess maybe worship bands being put on a pedestal or like certain pastors getting a lot of money. I was like, in a way, nonprofits are kind of similar because like, I guess the whole point is like they're not supposed to be making a lot of money. Like they're really like a vessel to like funnel this money to like another cause, right? But then some of them end up being like oh, like we just need a lot of this money to run this organization, and then like they pocket like their 200K salary or something, right?
Yeah.
But I think it's like the essence is like very similar.
Because like it's similar to like the mega church thing. It's like, you know, they need all this money, and then it's like they have like tax evasion. That's a bad way of putting it because it's negatively connotated, but tax doesn't affect
They
them.
don't pay tax because it's a church.
Same with like these nonprofits. You get exemptions.
So I guess at the end of the day, it's just like, this is really up to the person to like, I guess, honor the original agreement or intent behind it.
I mean, it's better than
Yeah.
being a business. I feel like they expect a lot out of it being a nonprofit because it's like it is a nonprofit, but like for you to hire people full time to work at this nonprofit, you're basically having people on full time, like y'all are a company, except y'all don't make money at the end of the year, which is mostly supposedly for the corporation system just to pay like the shareholders with that profit. So it's just like y'all don't have shareholders, and all your revenue is like donations. But other than that, it's like a business. That's what I think. I don't know like the details behind it, but I'm pretty sure that's how it runs.
This is a good point. Like, they're still an organization, but like they're just not necessarily tied to like helping other people make more money.
Yeah,
as well.
they're not supposed to produce profit like for the shareholders, but they are a business. No, wait, they're not a business because they're not making profit. They're like they're an organization.
Yeah.
I guess like
Employees.
They're supposed to provide something.
That makes sense. I guess going into this, like, going way back to like music, way back to music.
He's like,
Yeah, fishing back. What are some trends in music that you see are coming up, and like, do you like it, or do you have certain opinions, or are you just like, nah?
Well, I used to be really into like rap music, mostly because my brother, he like introduced me into like Kanye, like Jay-Z. And then there's been like the trash rappers of our generation, like Waka Flocka, or like it's hype. Like that was like our generation's like trash, but like now that's like Lil Pump. I can't think of any other music. Like Birdman, maybe like even DJ Khaled, or like Rick Ross. Like they're not
best music.
good. They're not good, but it's like always entertaining to listen to. Whereas like Kanye and Jay-Z were actually like good, artists. And nowadays you do have the good artists, the serious ones like Kendrick and J. Cole. But then you have like the troll ones like Lil Yachty. Like, so I'm like, when I really take a step back and like, oh, I hate mumble rap. But at the same time, I was like, our generation had like those trash just for fun artists too. Like it's fine. So but I have to say like lately I haven't been listening to rap as much just because I've been like, I just haven't been enjoying maybe the production side of it.
is it too much dumpster diving, or is it like?
I mean, for me, I started to care less about like dumb lyricism, like witty lyricism. I care either the song has like lyricism that's applicable in my life, which is not like witty ways to talk about drug dealing and stuff. Either that or like it has good production value. And nowadays, a lot of like the rap music doesn't really have either.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
Fair.
So like, do you usually like Kendrick stuff or like J. Cole stuff? Like, people you've mentioned like are typically more like serious, like woke rappers.
I do like their stuff, but I don't like actively look for it. Like when I hear it, I'm like, oh, this is good. But the stuff I actively look for is like stuff that I'm more interested in, like personally, which is just like anything guitar related or like production related. Yeah, but I would have to say, back in the day before I was like trying to do beats and stuff, I was really interested in Kanye's. I still am. I like his 808s album a lot. I think that's a groundbreaking album.
Is that your favorite Kanye album?
Yeah, 808s Heartbreak.
Yeah, because I remember
that was game changer when you heard it. You're like, what are these sounds, right?
Yeah.
At least that's what I thought. I was like,
I mean, it was literally
he's sampling random stuff too. Well, he's always been doing that.
I mean, I think it was literally a game changer for the rap industry too, right? Because like before, rap was more like gangster rap, so like, it was literally just like.
He was the first like sad boy rap.
I think he actually was. He actually was like vulnerable, and he was just like, yeah, man, like I have feelings,
Dang. And it was fire too.
Yeah. So I think because before, it was literally just like, yeah, man, like I popped some pills and I gang raped some like.
Just looking at like
but
like the rap music videos, like back then, they dressed like really gangster, and nowadays it's like more abstract.
Now they're just artists now. They're just going crazy with it, just like everyone else.
I watched like a Travis Scott music video. I'm just like, this is a visual spectacle. Yeah, I remember. Kanye is actually an example of like, he's changed a lot for like each album, right? Because like he went from, I guess, his more traditional, I guess, sad boy rap. I don't know what you call it. And then he went to like 808s, which was like a groundbreaker. And he had My Dark.
Now, before 808s, he had like sample rap. He used to sample like 70s, 80s classics on the records and stuff. And he would like spin them, slow them down. I don't know what he would do, but then he would like mix them into songs. That was like his sample rap was like his first game changer. So he did change the game already before 808s. And then, after 808s was the 808s era, and then he came out with like Yeezus. I don't even know if that was a game changing album. Low-key wasn't.
I know. How about My Dark, like Twisted Fantasy or whatever? Like
that was a good album.
That was pretty acclaimed from what I heard.
That was a good album.
Do you think it was a game changer, or you just like?
I think it was
like a perfection.
Kind of riding on the 808s. I can't tell if it had a lot of 808s, but I felt like it gave me the same vibe. But Yeezus and like
My Life,
Pablo,
the life of Pablo.
Dude, those were just like kind of like the Waka Flocka. I was just like, he's just having fun with it at this point.
Yeah, and then now he got into worship music. You
He
know,
did?
Jesus is King.
He did.
Oh, yeah. He
Yeah.
did.
So now like a lot of his lyrics are just like focused. It's like sounds like traditional worship music where you're like praising God and stuff.
Oh really? I only heard the one that was him about rapping about his dad or something. That was
Follow God?
Yeah. He's like riding a snowmobile or something.
Yeah,
Music
yeah,
video?
yeah.
That wasn't sounding like worship music. I thought that's what the album would be like.
Oh, see, no, that's the reason why that's his most popular song on the album
okay.
though, because that's his most old Kanye.
That's
sounding
okay.
like
So
song.
the rest of his album is like actually like not rap. It's like worship music.
It's not really, yeah.
Wait, so
Oh shoot.
does
Okay,
that like
well, I got the wrong impression.
does that produce like inner conflict?
Does it-
Because it's like putting worship music on a pedestal, or is that just like
I mean,
just because he's
that-
using the style?
No, I don't think he cares what people think because he
well,
he
for
put it out
him-
and people probably are not gonna buy it up as easily as if he just put out a Kanye album.
Yeah, for him,
He probably lost money on that.
he legitimately, like, there's a saying, like, there's like a song I remember too. It's literally like the Chainsmokers wrote a song called Kanye, and it's literally just about like I wish I loved myself, or like I had as much confidence as Kanye does, right?
They made that song. Okay.
Yeah, it was actually low key
Chainsmokers.
a good song though. I listened to it in like high school. But Kanye literally like does not care, you know. Like I think he probably values his opinion of himself like first and foremost. But
Oh, for sure.
I think that for him, there's probably no inner conflicts. I know in like the online Christian community, I guess, like, you know, there's like subtle Christian traits or whatever. I was like browsing through it, and they're always debating
that
like,
page is-
yeah, they're always debating.
It's kind of stupid.
Yeah, they're always debating like, oh, like, do you think like he's really sincere? And like half the posts will just like be really pretentious, like kind of like just pretentious religious judgmental people, and then like other half is just like, bro, like chill out. I guess between him and God, like who really cares, right? But I think some people like it. Like there's always like jokes about like, oh, now the youth pastors are gonna be playing like Kanye music in their attempt to be hip and cool, and other people are just like I guess they actually like rap music and they're like, this is garbage. But yeah, I think it depends on the person. I know for like not religious Kanye fans are kind of just like, this isn't very
You
good.
don't know what's going on.
Yeah, I don't, surprisingly, I feel like they weren't necessarily opposed to him releasing like a gospel album, but they thought it would be like
Different.
because he's released like Christian themed singles before, like Ultra Light Beam and like
Okay.
Jesus Walk, stuff like that, and those were like
That song's fire.
those were good songs. So then they're like, oh, it'll just be an album full of that. But like, I guess Jesus is King is a very short album. Like, there's only one song longer than like two minutes, and it's like,
Oh, really?
it's very. If you're like used to listening to worship music, then you're like, this sounds just like worship music. But for
Is
them,
it like contemporary worship music or like gospel?
contemporary.
What is the
I think.
difference?
So like contemporary is like full band, like Hillsong. But gospel is usually like just piano and like and the
Oh
choir.
wait, maybe it's no. I think maybe it's more gospel. Yeah,
Yeah.
because like he uses in one song he called Sela. He definitely uses like a lot of
Praise.
choirs. So
That's why I couldn't imagine him putting out Hillsong type album.
oh no,
That
it
would
wasn't
be
really
weird.
that. But I guess like the content of the lyrics are like very similar to
Just-
like
Hillsong never raps.
yeah. Honestly, I don't even know what I'm talking about. I could be completely wrong. Someone's gonna. One of the few listeners
in
will
the
comment.
comments.
Yeah, dude.
One of the few listeners just be like, "Yeah, Alex has no idea what he's talking about."
I didn't listen to that album. I only listened to one song on the front page talking about like
He was
his
in,
dad.
yeah, like my dad's my best friend or something. Yeah.
That song was good.
That song was good,
Yeah,
but that's
probably okay. I thought that's what the album was.
but that's also
it's
like
not.
that's his most popular
yeah,
song.
'cause it's kind
yeah,
of lit.
yeah,
but
but-
if the
yeah.
rest of the album's not fun to listen to, I can understand.
because like that's not like they're
It's
not
not the
religious.
demographic that
yeah.
Kanye's fans are, so it's gonna be weird. Because
Yeah.
like the people that want that, they're probably not listening to Kanye.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just I don't know.
I mean,
I don't know where he was going with it, but I respect the decision.
I guess for him, he's just like, I just want to do what I want to
Yeah,
do.
he's just.
Yeah, I remember reading an article where he was like, "Oh, I don't know if I should rap anymore because it's the devil's music." And this pastor's like, "You can rap; it's not that big of a deal." And he's like, "Okay," and that's how this album was conceived.
That's kind of
Oh,
wild.
Gosh.
Yeah, Kanye is a very interesting man.
It's actually really wild. The entire like formation of this album rode on the fact that some guy was like, "Oh, it's not the devil's thing. It's all right, buddy."
I mean, he was originally making some other like album called Yandi, but then I guess he decided like I only want to make Christian music, and it became to Jesus is King, which is probably why like some of it is not super great because like you can't really take what you're doing for like 3 years and just like in like half a year be like I'm gonna change this up and completely different, you know. But yeah.
Speaking of changing things, what is your opinion on musicians that like have style changes or that just like branch out to different styles of music? Because I was like watching a video and it's just like talking about like musicians who do that, and it's just like the fans tend to have like adverse reactions to it
At first,
because then they're like, oh, why can't they just pick a style?
I miss the old Kanye, miss the old Taylor Swift.
Yeah, stuff like that.
the best artists always change over time. They always evolve their sound.
Yeah, I never see it as a bad thing, but then fans tend to.
Yeah, I've seen fans not like it. I mean, I just know like Linkin Park was one of the first bands that I thought like, wow, they changed their sound, and then that's when they got major like hate for it. I don't know if y'all had that experience, but you know, growing up, I really liked Linkin Park. It was like edgy and stuff. But then,
Yeah, dude.
they
Like,
started
actually,
putting out like electronic stuff and like, I don't know. But I also liked that later on when I was older. Some people were like, oh, this is the perfect music for us now because back then we were angsty and now we're like adults, so we can like think properly. I don't know.
That's pretty interesting because like okay, so I was watching a Fung Bros. You know the Fung Bros, right?
Yeah.
So they started a podcast about just Asian American culture called A3N because like it's the third generation or whatever. So
8-3-N.
yeah, this is a play on AZN.
Oh.
But it's like AZN 3.0. But they're like AZN 1.0 being like the AIM
I
era.
can't visualize it.
Yeah.
But okay.
We're too young. We definitely came in the later generation. But
But we were the AZN era.
yeah. But basically they were talking about like so he invited Phil Wang from Wong Fu, and then he was talking about how like I guess how like an artist like when they produce stuff like their content is like might stay the same or they might change over time, right? And like for like Wong Fu, like some of the stuff like they've been getting is just like, hey, why isn't your like material, like your short film material, it's like why isn't it more serious? Like because it's very like clean, I guess. Like if they do like romantic stuff, like it's not super physical. Like they won't ever like talk about like sex or whatever. But for some fans, they're like, oh, that's what we want because like, that's like more realistic to
We
them,
want to
right?
advance further, but he's always just been the
Yeah,
same.
he's always been like, this is the same period, right? But his argument is just like, look at Nickelodeon, right? Like when you look at Nickelodeon, it's like it's for kids. So you never like why isn't Nickelodeon getting into more serious stuff, right? It's just like Nickelodeon knows their audience. Like they're like, we're here for these kids, so like they'll have the memories of like I watched this show and I learned something from it. But like we don't expect them to
Continue watching.
Yeah, we're not like 45-year-old Joey.
That's not really a fair comparison in my opinion because I'm like, yeah,
Because it's a more defined demographic.
You watch Nickelodeon, and then now that you're older, you stop watching it, and then the next generation starts watching it, and then you know I don't remember what shows they're watching now,
Dude,
but you know
Danny fans.
yeah, they watch different shows now, but they're still like catered for the kids. But I think Wong Fu's not getting like new fans. He's just has the same fan bases. They just got older, so like maybe you should adapt to your fan base.
But see, that's
Me personally,
Oh yeah. No, I get what you're saying.
You know, I don't think Wong Fu kids are watching Wong Fu now, and they're gonna just stop. That doesn't make sense.
Yeah, like I agree with that too because Nickelodeon knows their audience and it's a very defined audience. Like Wong Fu's not necessarily like only angsty teens must watch this.
Yeah.
But Nickelodeon is like this is specifically catered towards kids and we don't expect our fan base to carry over. But Wong Fu does. And so I think they should adapt their material because like they're not, as you said, they're not getting like a shit ton of new subscribers.
Yeah,
and
that's true.
even if they did, it's not like the rate will always be up. And so you only have the fans that you had, like whenever you had that growth.
So but that's his argument though. He's just like, I guess
personally disagree, but I mean,
I'm not Phil Wang, so. But I guess he was saying how like I guess they're still trying to decide where like, do we adapt or do we just try to appeal to like this specific subgroup of fans? Yeah.
But it's not like you can just give them that. You know, you might compromise the integrity. Plus, like YouTube, I don't know if you can put like more explicit stuff on there. I don't watch Wong Fu, so I don't know.
Because like demonetization is a huge error, or not error, but like a huge problem in YouTube these days. They talk about how like a lot of the big content channels right now don't necessarily put out like, you know, good content, but they put out family friendly content.
So do you think that's like a compromise of like art?
perhaps like for example, some of the biggest creators just had a boxing match. I don't.
Oh, KSI and Logan Paul.
Yeah, I don't think their content is particularly like groundbreaking. They're not doing anything wild. They're not doing anything cool.
Is it family friendly? It's not even like family friendly.
It is. They like censor the curse words. They like don't do explicit actions. Like because their demographic. They know their demographic.
Kids.
Yeah, and so it's like it's very catered that way.
Money makes, bro. Money moves.
I'm just saying, dude.
I think
Both boxing matches sold out. Made a shit ton of money.
is it pay per view or what?
There was pay-per-view. There's pay-per-view and then the contract. And then I was reading an article the other day. For the most recent one, they both got 900,000 just from the contract alone, not including any other things they're going to get paid.
Interesting.
There's a whole new generation of YouTubers. That's another side of culture we didn't even think about.
Yeah.
Damn, I feel old now. But we used to watch like Nigga Higa,
Kev Jumba.
Like
Wong Fu.
Like now content.
I used to watch Just King Films. I like that.
Oh.
I like that channel a lot.
Yeah.
And Timothy De La Ghetto, but I guess he's still relevant because he's on Wild 'N Out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My boy Tim made it.
But now content is more like used to be. Content was like very short. It was like similar to Vine, like 2-3 minute videos.
It was like 4 minutes. Yeah.
But now
every video is 10 minutes.
10 minutes in 1 second.
10 to 12.
10 minutes in 1 second. It's like hella mid rolls, and then there's like fucking 3 ads at the beginning and the end.
Yeah. And then those are those are like the average and shorter side.
Yeah.
Now it's like 20.
It's like 20-minute vlogs.
Yeah, basically. It's actually.
And there's a lot of filler content that they can chop out, but that will reduce the runtime.
I just remember like growing up watching Kev Jumba. Like he was just using a webcam on like his computer, and that's just how he was recording like his vlogs. If his vlogs were really just him like ranting about something, and it was like super.
Those were the good videos.
It was super chill. It was
I liked when he just talked about random stuff in front of his webcam.
And not even
Same with
like,
Niga Higa,
not even
off the
that.
hill.
It's like he never had a schedule.
I like Nigga Higa's like produced videos better.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah, like How to Be Ninja and stuff.
Oh,
like that.
okay.
Those
That
videos
shit's
are
classic. That
good.
shit's
Yeah,
classic.
those videos are good.
But it's
He's
just like
creative.
Like I think it's interesting because like Niga Higa found a way to like adapt his spirit with his times,
Yeah.
But like most YouTubers like from back then, like I wouldn't say like they haven't experienced like I guess the growth Niga Higa did, because like they're just like we'll just stick to what we're doing, right? Kind of like what I was talking about with Wong Fu earlier, or even like Kev Jumbo was just like this ain't really it for me anymore. Like I just want to do something else, I just think it's interesting how YouTube just had a super indie culture, and like now it's very produced. It's almost like
It's top heavy.
it's very top heavy. It's like companies are actually like investing.
But you
in
can
it.
still find like stuff all
You
the
can still
time.
find,
Yeah.
It's just not getting paid.
There's not getting paid to do it,
nowadays. Back then, like everyone was able to like live off YouTube. Now I feel like not everyone can live off it. Only the big ones can.
Because like demonetization is so big. Like you can lose a lot of money that way. And like even now, like YouTube is just under lots of scrutiny. Like I just read a thing the other day. They're now taking away monetization from like kid themed things. Like for example, like toy channels, because like there was a huge controversy about it. Like how there was like a small subsection of like YouTube commenters that would like give each other like time marks of like when this is like certain happenings. And it's like a small group of like pedophiles. Yeah, pedophiles.
Of like, there's the video about like children related things
Like for example, toy reviews.
by adults. Like adults are reviewing toys.
No, like it's adults filming kids and they're just like interacting with
that's
toys.
a no-go.
Yeah, and so like now they're demonetizing it, but now all these channels are like, well, now we're compromised.
Well, I mean,
It's like, what
I don't
can you
think
do?
You should film your kids and put it on the internet anyway.
Yeah, I don't believe in that
I
either.
don't think you should do that. But whatever.
Each man to his own.
Yeah, honestly, I can't stop you. But
Yeah.
like, you making money off your kids? Come on.
Yeah, I think it's psychologically damaging. Like kid actors, like
Or
man.
child models and stuff. Yeah. I remember watching a video of like some mom beating her like daughter or whatever for not posing right, and I was just like,
Bruh.
Couldn't be me, bro. The only thing I get beat for is not playing violin.
wait, but actually though, why aren't you practicing? I hate violin. It's like, I'm not paying $45 for this. I never wanted you to pay $45 for this. But yeah. I think something interesting was like, when I was watching the podcast, they're like saying like the way people used to look at YouTube is the way we might look at TikTok or Vine.
Interesting.
Where it's like, because now it's kind of like, I guess in a way like people
Okay.
are going to TikTok and Vine. Like I was a little like kind of shook by that comparison too, but it's like they're going into it like kind of like a craft of art, but it's very short, like
That's interesting.
1 minute videos, and you're just like, they're like, oh, okay, like
I mean, yeah.
we have a little skit, right? And back then, like, YouTube used to have a lot of skits too.
Not only that, like YouTube used to have a lot of collabs between the artists. I mean, not the artists, the YouTubers.
Yeah.
And like they just do a lot of stuff together. It was like a lot more friendly. But nowadays it's a lot more aggressive. Like you got to do call outs. You got to like name drop. You got to catch a smoke. You
That's
know?
just like that one.
That's a specific area though.
But it extends
disgusting side of YouTube.
It airs out. Like it airs out its dirty laundry and it affects a lot of other things.
I guess
Those
it's
are like the top of YouTube people.
Exactly,
They
and
get into beef- they get into beef for fun.
everyone's trying to like claw up to that.
Yeah.
So they're like dirty laundry is like affecting everything down and it trickles down.
There's still like those channels that just like, for example, Athlean X, bro. This guy has no beef with nobody. He's just making good content all the time. I don't know if you know what I'm talking about.
I have no idea who you're talking
Okay,
about.
never mind. He's like a weight training.
Oh.
Yeah, I guess
he
it's
has millions of subscribers, maybe 100, maybe 10 million. I don't know, but yeah, like there's always people who just put out stuff.
they just
honestly.
do what they're doing.
Yeah.
And they just happen to be
Yeah,
successful.
Yeah,
I guess that's what the spirit of YouTube originally was.
Yeah.
they're
Just
still
happened.
out there.
They're still out there.
Is still out there. You know, like they're making, like is Boyce Avenue still out there making covers of songs? I don't know.
Oh, dude, the YouTube cover days.
I don't
Holy
know
dude,
if
that
they
shit
should
is
do
so.
Do you ever
doesn't
listen
fly
to
anymore.
Yeah, it doesn't.
Kurt
Covers nobody.
what's his name?
I know who you're talking about.
He and like
Shoot, I don't know his name.
he and like some half Chinese dude, they would always like do covers of like popular songs.
I know exactly who you're talking about.
Yeah, and like this dude was like a really talented producer. Like he would like transcribe a lot of stuff to the piano or like different instruments, and I would be like, oh, this guy's insane. I don't know if he still makes I don't know if he still makes YouTube videos though, because he kind of faded from my
Well, people aren't
conscious.
really that interested in covers. I feel like anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're more interested in these fights, man. Trying to catch the smoke.
Well, I guess it's been a more weighty, interesting talk, but I know you came into the podcast with like some prepared pet peeves. So I don't want
Yeah, we can go do that.
I don't want your hard work to go into waste. So,
Yeah. Let's
I'll
hear
go-
it.
Wanna pull that up.
Yeah, let's pull it
Yeah,
up.
pull it up.
Let's
Alright.
discuss some of these pet peeves.
Okay, so this all began because I was like listening to some motivational speeches back in the day. I think this was like freshman year of college. You know, probably just I failed the test or something. I don't know. But, like, I was like, Jack Ma, owner of Alibaba, gives a speech about I don't know. I could try to imitate him. No, that's racist. Okay. Find the problems. Those are the ways that you can make a business, or like find the things that people don't like to do and do that. That's how you'll be successful. So I was like, okay, throughout college, I'm gonna collect like things that people don't like, or that annoy them, and like, you know, I haven't figured out the solutions yet. I just find the things. I got half the stuff done.
Yeah, that's half the battle.
Yeah, half the battle right here. So the first thing on my list is, I don't know how we're gonna solve this, but being told to do something that you were gonna do. For example, you know, you're getting up. Maybe the teacher's like playing a movie in class or something, and you're next to the light switch. So naturally, you get up to like turn it off. But then the professor tells you, "Hey, turn off the lights," and you're like, "Now she's telling me what to do." Stupid. Like now I don't want to do it. You know, but it's a professor, and so I'm a little bitch, so I'm gonna turn off. But like, you know, but like,
It's like, what if it's
you don't want to.
Yeah.
When even though you were going to do it, why is that? You know, I feel like that's just because like people are petty. But I don't know if you ever experienced that.
I've definitely experienced that.
Definitely.
Especially my
Like
mom.
you were actually gonna do it,
I
just
see
like
it.
on your own. But
Literally, like my mom's like, yeah, do the laundry, and I'm like midway through putting my clothes in like my laundry basket. I'm just like, I'm just gonna go read some manga now. Yeah, why is that? What do you think?
I don't
I
know.
just don't like being told what to do.
I think it's like a rebellion against authority, because this typically happens with people that like you presented two examples, like mom and a professor, like someone who has like authoritative power over you. However, it can also be like your friends, but like you don't see it that way as much when it's your friends.
I think it's
Dude.
like literally you were going to do it anyways. Like you were actually about to do it, which is like a big key to it. So it's kind of like you don't want to do it anymore because you feel like if you do it, then the person who told you to do it will feel like that you did it because they told you to do it and not because you actually wanted to do it.
So you wanted, because you were going to do it because like you wanted to do it, right? But you don't want them to be like, I guess, taking credit for your motivation.
Yeah, or in the future, you don't want them to think like they can tell you what to do and you'll do it.
Yeah.
You feel like there's a misunderstanding if you go and do what they just told you to do because you didn't actually do it because they told you to do it.
Yeah.
You're just actually just doing it because you wanted to do it yourself.
Fair.
So you didn't want to like miscommunicate to them like, oh, I'm listening
Your
to
intention.
what you're telling me. Yeah.
So you're basically like saying, I ain't your bitch.
So I think the best way to go about it is be like, I was gonna do it anyways, professor.
So you
I'm about to hit the light anyways. Oh, you want me to hit the light? Or like you hit it and then you turn around and be like, oh, you wanted me to do it? Okay. I didn't even hear that. Like I just turned it off. I didn't even hear you say that.
So the solution to be more petty.
Act like you didn't hear that they told you to do it. It's like, oh, you wanted me to turn it off? Okay, good. I was going to do that.
We were on the same page anyway. Nice. What's the next list? What's the next item?
Okay, so you ever like, we were doing some research. All right, well, basically the thing is, I was about to get off track, but basically it's trying to switch tabs on your computer, but then accidentally closing that tab. And usually, like, that's the important tab that you can't close.
Oh.
Like, you know, when you have hella tabs, and so, like, the X is just as big as the tab. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's like that one obscure, like, chemistry resource that you needed to solve your problem, but it was such a disgusting link, you didn't want to bookmark it, right? So you just have it on your tabs for, like, 3 days. You know what I mean?
The worst part is you close it, but you don't realize you closed it until later.
Oh, I realized immediately. I don't know what you're talking
Oh, really?
about.
Because sometimes I'll do that, and like I don't even remember how to find
accidentally
it.
close it.
I don't know how to
You
find
forget how to find
Yeah,
it.
you don't know how to
find it,
Like,
and
say
like
you find
I
it.
don't, and like because usually you can do like recent tab, but there's a point when the recent tab starts like the
Fucking up.
cache doesn't
Yeah.
like keep it up
but
anymore.
you can't find it anymore.
Yeah.
Because like you just closed it and there's like you didn't bookmark it because you didn't want to. You were like, oh, I'll just leave it in my tabs. I don't have to bookmark it because when I open, all my tabs are back. Right? No, you know. So I don't know what the moral of the story is here. Maybe they could optimize it better so you don't accidentally like close your tab or something. I know Google actually fixed it. I noticed that. I peeped it. I didn't
But how
I
did they
didn't tell
fix
them
it?
to do it, but maybe they heard me, like my FBI guy caught some wind of me like yelling when I said. But basically, like it doesn't show the X there anymore. It only shows the X on the tab that you're on. So if you're trying to switch tabs-
interesting.
If you're trying to switch, you can't close a tab that you're not on. So you have to switch that tab and then you can close it.
Interesting.
So when you think about it, it makes sense. Like, why would you close a tab that you're not even like you don't even know what's on that tab? Like, you're not gonna close it.
Wait, is this only if like there's so
Tab.
many tabs?
I think you just can't. Like, if you have Amazon and Gmail here, and you want to close Amazon, but you're looking at Gmail, you gotta switch to Amazon first, and then you close it.
Oh, that's
Oh, really? I feel like
Would that be annoying?
Would that be annoying?
I feel like they should just provide the option. Like, if you want it, you can have it.
I don't know if that would annoy me. I don't.
Because
think
you
it
can
would.
also right click and press close the tab.
Because, like, I don't use my mouse when navigating between tabs, so I don't have this problem. Because, like, I use Control Tab, which moves it to the right, which opens up the right tab. I do Control Alt Tab, which opens up the left tab. I use Control W to close a tab. I do Control T to open a new tab. And I do
Well, then you have to navigate to that tab anyways to close it.
Yeah, but wouldn't you have to like literally like?
Oh, you only use the mouse when you want to close tabs.
No. Like, I don't use, like, mouse at all when I navigate between tabs.
What about when you want to close a tab?
Control W.
So you just switch to that.
Wait, so
tab
when you
first.
switch to a tab, you just control
Tab.
tab all the way to the tab.
Yeah.
But then if you want to close a tab that's all the way on the right and you're on this left tab,
Then you do Control Alt Tab, it'll go the other direction.
so you have to actually, so you still have to open the tab that you're trying to close, right?
No, but I don't use the mouse. This is all.
Oh,
on
no,
the
he's saying that
keyboard.
like he never will accidentally close something.
Because it already will.
Oh,
if I do
okay.
Control Tab,
But
it'll move to the
this
next
change
one.
that they didn't even affect you anyways.
Yeah, so I didn't know.
But basically, the only
basically
person that
he-
would not like this change is the person who actually like closes tabs that they're not on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like if they're like on Amazon, but they want to close Gmail, but they don't want to switch to Gmail first. They just want to close Gmail immediately. Then they're gonna have to switch to that tab first and then close it, which could be annoying. But I mean, you can get around that. What I've learned is you just right click the tab you want to close. You know, it doesn't open that tab, and then you just close the tab. So now you have to do 2 actions to close the tab, though. So you can't accidentally close the tab with just 1 click anymore.
Interesting.
I guess the more safety features there are, the more I guess intricate your actions.
It's
have
like when
to
it's
be.
like bureaucratic, it gets
Yeah,
more
it
red tape.
requires more. What is it called? APM. to close your tabs. But yeah, I think my FBI guy probably. told
He said he got some
that.
Google connections.
Yo, the next pet peeve is you ever like go to someone's house and you can tell immediately if they're rich or broke. You know the one way.
How?
Okay, if they're really rich, the toilet is like a button.
Oh
Okay.
my, dude, that's
But if-
airports over.
Yeah, but if they're like broke, then like you gotta hold the freaking levers for it to flush. You gotta stand there after you just taken a fat dump and hold the lever for a good like 1 or 2 seconds. And if you think they're rich and you just press it one time, not only does it not flush, you gotta wait for that hole to fill back up.
Because it doesn't go, it just
And
like
then-
half goes.
And then
Half
sometimes
goes.
it doesn't go back up, and you
Fucking
get
worst. I hate when your toilet, like, you gotta hold the lever. That shit pissed me off. I should have just pressed it once and should immediately dunk the dump that I just took. I shouldn't have to, like, hold that hoe.
Wait,
Have
what
you
is
ever had this experience?
what I have?
Because my downstairs bathroom has that. It annoys me. My upstairs bathroom, the one our bathroom that I actually use because it's near my room, doesn't have that problem. So when I take a dump downstairs, sometimes I forget. I gotta hold the lever. It makes me so mad.
What about the one where it's a split button? One uses less water and one uses more.
More.
Well, you're just rich if you do that. But also, when you take a dump and you press the less one, does it not flush?
It doesn't flush
well,
as well.
that's for like peeing, right?
Yeah, it's for peeing.
Yeah, it's for peeing, so it doesn't flush that well.
Does it still flush your dump though?
It depends on how hard your dump is.
So it still might get the job done.
It might because
It might.
it uses less water, so
But
it's
then
less force.
it could
So
also make it
why would you
worse.
Why would you ever click the button too?
No, because say you took like a really like you had like
Okay,
you had
know
like
that you know it's a 2-button.
Yeah, you
Yeah.
know it's like,
Like-
you know it's a fat one.
like you've been in the toilet for 15 minutes and it wasn't just you sitting there like watching memes, like browsing memes, like it was you.
You're trying hard.
I
You're
would
you
always-
actually dumping.
I would always press the 1 because I don't think I would need to press the 2. I mean, I don't know.
So this man's saying I never take fat dumps.
I don't take like huge dumps.
Okay.
I take dumps more often because man's got to eat a lot of fiber.
Okay.
So
fair, fair.
you say I don't take a big dump at the end of every day.
Yeah, so that might be beneficial because normally it is a 2 flush every time, right?
Yeah.
I'm assuming that's the default flush
Yeah.
when you press the bigger one. So
this might be better for the environment.
yeah, it's better if everyone has like the 2-button thing.
Fair.
So fucking broke people need to definitely stop using that shit lever. Like, stop that.
Okay.
Stop that.
What's the next one?
Also, I just call myself broke inadvertently. I'm one of those.
You said I am broke, but I'm also rich because you have.
Well, I'm not. I'm default.
He's
I'm
middle
still-
class.
He's middle class.
Default. Honestly, if it flushes in one go and it's a lever, that's default. You're rich if you have 2 buttons.
Mhm.
Yeah, but if you got a lever and it just goes, like you're living life, but you're not like better than anyone. No, you're worse than everyone though. You're the worst kind of person if your toilet doesn't flush.
You're the
in
worst
one
kind
go.
of person.
Yeah.
That's why you gotta work hard and move your way up
see.
in the morality ladder.
Oh, some of these are just dumb now. Okay, you know like when I don't know which one is dumber. Okay, you know when you're like driving and like you're gonna have to turn right, but you don't want to like put yourself in a position where you're gonna have to like rush into the right lane. So you get into the right lane early, but then like you get stopped at that light and like
I know exactly what you're talking
500
about.
people are behind you trying to turn right,
Yeah.
and you're like straight.
You know what? That's actually me all
You're
the
like
time.
the worst person. I'm like, ah.
Wait, I know exactly. This is so relatable.
And the guy has his, not only that, he like looks at you, waits for a second or two, and then hits the right signal. Like it wasn't even on. Just to tell you that he's pissed because he's waiting for you. He turns the right signal on.
Dude, that happened. I remember one time that like legitimately happened to me. Like, I just wasn't familiar with like the area, and like I had to go to like some restaurant. So like, I'm always paranoid that like when I need to go to the right lane, it would be super congested, and I'll end up missing the turn. So I'm like, okay, let's go a little early, right? Like when it's in the 1 mile radius, then like I switch to the lane I'm supposed to be in.
Okay.
But then, like, in reality, like, there's, like, 10 billion entrances along the way. So, like, I didn't actually need to go that early. But I didn't know any better, right? But basically, what is even worse is that, like sometimes, sometimes, like, people, like, they don't... Like, some people are nice. Like, they'll let you go in the lane. Some people aren't, right? But, like, when you think you need to get in the lane, you're just like, fuck these people. Then you just force yourself in,
I don't
right?
think I do that.
Yeah.
But okay.
I do that sometimes. So then, like...
You're a bad driver.
So, basically... I went, zzz, and then basically it turns out I didn't need to do it. And then I, like...
So now you're stuck in front of them.
Now I'm stuck in front of them at the red light, and she honks me, and I was like, I can't even be mad. But I was like, feels bad for her.
You got in front of her just to stop there so that she couldn't turn right.
Yeah,
You did her
basically.
so dirty.
I did her so dirty.
What do you mean?
Yeah, that's because I didn't know the area.
It's just the biggest feel is bad when there's no shoulder. When there's a shoulder and like they go around you to turn right, I don't feel as bad.
That's true.
So all roads should have shoulders. But then people start using the shoulder like it's an actual right lane.
Yeah.
So that's actually so dangerous. Every day when I go to work, there's like a right turn and then there's also a shoulder. And like all of my coworkers were like, the fucking shoulder, let's get to work. And I'm like, I'm just the intern. I can't do it.
I feel like I always go for the shoulder since it's like I guess faster. Because usually it's like.
This guy's a terrible driver. You don't have to reveal all this in the.
Hey, I know I'm not a good driver.
Air this out.
Hey, this is what you do. It's like if you're a
You
good
drive
driver,
on the shoulder. 911. We have an emergency.
Wait. What do you mean by by shoulder? Do you just mean like that little like pathway that goes here or what?
No, that's a right turn lane. Shoulders like.
Shoulders-
where you stop when your car is like broke down.
Oh, I don't do that. I misinterpreted what you're
Like
saying.
most of the time, shoulders are on the left side because like the right
Yeah.
side is like.
Oh,
too
are you
much
talking about? Are you
congestion.
talking about like on the highway?
There's shoulders on normal ass roads too.
Oh,
Yeah.
you're talking about lane, and then there's like that little, there's a little gap.
Solid white line.
Oh.
Telling you
Or
not
solid
to
yellow
cross
line.
that.
Yeah, okay, but that's. Oh yeah, I don't
Solid
do that.
yellow if it's the left shoulder because that's
Yeah.
oncoming traffic. And
Oh,
like solid white.
sorry.
Is
I thought you meant. I was literally thinking of like lane and then like the little thing.
Like the thing that
the little
avoids
thing
some
is
traffic.
just a right lane.
That's just a right
turn
lane.
Traffic. You would never be in there if you're
But
going
like,
to go straight.
Yeah.
if you're going to turn right.
Yeah, those are good because that means that when you're going straight, then people can go.
Oh,
Yeah.
here.
sorry. That's what I thought you meant by shoulder.
Yeah, shoulders are like specifically for like your car's broke down or like emergency like need to get through.
Oh, okay. I don't do that. I'm not that bad of a driver, I guess.
All right,
But I'm still pretty bad.
Because like the thing is when you're in the shoulder, it like it's different. So like you feel it.
Yeah,
when
you
you're in
also
the
it's
shoulder.
also vibrating sometimes. 'cause there's,
I mean, isn't there like a little angle or whatever?
There's like some stuff.
There's
It
a
depends on
little route,
where
right?
you are.
they try to make it like not fun to drive on purpose.
Yeah.
You're not supposed to drive
Uh.
on. But people like I said, they drove on the shoulder every day to work because it was just there was a light there. Let's see. You ever like washing your hands? And like nowadays, there's not really a problem with that because there's like the foam, so it doesn't like slide off. But like when you're getting liquid soap and your hand's wet, because you're not gonna put liquid soap on your dry hand, and then you pull your hand out from under, and the soap is still stuck to the nozzle because your hand is super slippery, no friction at all, right? It's wet. And then not only that, but now it drops onto your freaking counter, and you're just like, it just collects a puddle of soap. Where like it drops
Wait,
every
I
time.
have.
You know what I mean?
Oh, wait, I feel that. Also, I have a slight like other pet peeve attached to this is like you know how like when you use like the pump, and sometimes like when you have liquid soap, it like creates it like so like imagine this is like the nozzle which is soap comes out.
Okay.
Sometimes it like clogs it up like this.
Oh, and there's like a little like booger hanging
Yeah,
out.
and
Oh,
sometimes it
yeah,
causes
yeah.
it to like shoot at you.
Yeah.
and then,
Soap.
that happened to me
Fix the
earlier
shit.
this morning, and
That's
it
why
just
you
like
gotta get
shot
foam.
at me. I was like, this
Yeah.
is dumb.
Or,
But
like,
is foam more expensive or not? Or I don't even know if like liquid is optimal. Should we stop using liquid soap?
I just know you shouldn't be using antibacterial soap because then that causes antibacterial resistance.
Oh, what? Isn't all soap antibacterial? No.
No.
Wait, how does
Shit,
soap
I gotta
work?
look at my label.
So soap works. It like what happens is the simple explanation is soap just makes bubbles, and that it makes bubbles around things.
Yeah.
And so when you wash it off of you, it like you wash off the bubbles containing these things.
Oh, so you
Antibacterial
don't
soap
need that
literally
antibacterial.
kills bacteria.
So you don't need that.
But okay, but like technically you're just
So
washing
your
it off.
Your detergent's antibacterial, though, isn't it?
I believe so.
So aren't all your dishes like trucks then?
Well, I mean, they're not living beings though, right?
Yeah, it's like part of it is like
No, because you're gonna have growth on your dishes because you're growing. Wait, I mean,
Wait.
based on the logic that you're having, or
Wait,
you're talking
wait,
about your
wait,
hands is different, right?
wait.
You're saying no antibacterial.
Wait, hold
because
up,
you don't
wait,
want-
Wait,
you
I
don't
thought
want
you said
growth
I
on
thought
it.
you said detergent was.
Hold up, wait. Maybe I'm trolling. Wait.
You don't want
So is
bacterial
detergent?
resistance to your soap, right?
I,
But then anything that kills bacteria is basically gonna make super bacteria according to that logic. So why would you?
no, because you want to minimize the amount that happens, right?
Because is it because you're using specifically because you're using that soap on your hands that you don't want hand soap to be antibacterial, but you're okay with antibacterial?
No, that's not
dish soap.
antibacterial.
It's not either.
Because that what that does is it removes things that bacteria grow on.
So that's not antibacterial
No.
either.
No.
Oh, okay. So I probably my soap isn't antibacterial. I always thought it just killed germs.
Like antibacterial soap specifically says it's antibacterial.
Okay, then I probably don't have antibacterial soap.
Because like I think that like the UN made like a thing about this, like the World Health
Okay,
Organization.
I can see that because antibacterial soap doesn't really make sense because on its own soap already like washes bacteria
Yeah.
away. You don't need to kill them too.
Yeah.
They're washing you away, but you're not allowed to go free. You die. These bacteria, you're sliding on my hand and you die.
LMAO. It's just something like I don't know, paranoid
That's
moms would
overkill.
buy.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can see that. But anyways,
But yeah, I do. Agree
I don't
with that.
know like what is the default soap nowadays. It's like is foam better for the environment? Is it easier to produce?
I don't know.
Or is liquid soap like? I just don't understand. Maybe I need to change up my soap game because I feel like
What's it? Bar soap, bro.
I just be like using normal ass like liquid body soap, liquid shampoo. I'm
Makes
like
me-
I'm not optimizing. I feel like there's better stuff out there.
Probably.
That makes me wonder about lotion, right? Because there's like liquid, there's like
No, I
more
feel like
liquidy
lotion
lotion.
is just lotion.
Lotion's
Really?
just lotion, bro.
I mean, I've used foam lotion.
Normal ass lotion gets the job done, but I'm like liquid soap or like liquid body wash might not be doing as good of a job. What would you use besides lotion?
Oh, I don't know, like cream or like there is
Oh,
foam.
okay.
There is
Yeah.
foam lotion too.
Moisturizing foam.
Yeah. Like I had
Actually, I don't know
I
that.
had a sample once, but I think I was on
You know,
I know what you're talking about.
maybe
I think I was allergic to that
I just
lotion,
feel
though.
like
It
lotion
wasn't
is already
effective.
like super moisturized.
I think a lot of it's just like you don't want it to clog up your pores and stuff.
It's true.
That can cause like acne or like
Scented
make your
lotions
thing.
are always
Yeah,
bad.
yeah. I
Actually,
know.
maybe my lotion game has just always been good. My soap game has been bad.
You can't have one without the other.
Nah, I just like
Or
I
you
always,
have to have one
actually
without
always
the
do
other.
buy good lotion. Like I spend money on like lotion
Yeah.
because like I know it's super important for like not breaking out. But I haven't been spending a lot of money on my. I just buy like generic shitty like body soap. Like maybe I should buy like better soap if I'm gonna buy like expensive lotion. You know.
Maybe.
You know.
It's expensive to groom well, I guess. To look after
'Cause
yourself.
you gotta buy like skin creams and stuff. Those are expensive. But like if I'm gonna be using this like trash body soap, that's kind of like not a move.
That's fair. I get
Yeah,
the
I might as
point.
well like not either like not use the cream at all or But anyways, what I was mainly trying to be is like I don't know what is the best like hand soap option. Do people even use hand soap? Because my roommates don't have hand soap. I don't know if they even use soap. So but after I take a dump or something, I gotta use like soap. But I don't know if like foam, because you see foam at like all the public bathrooms.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's like cheaper or like what. If y'all know. anything
Maybe
about
it's
that.
I don't know. Honestly,
I wouldn't know.
I have never thought about this dichotomy.
Because foam soap is definitely you don't need wet hands to use it first of all, but also it never like it has good friction on your hand. It could.
But what about hand sanitizer? Just like skipping soap and
hand sanitizer's ass. I'm not using that.
But how does hand sanitizer work? Is that actually like
That
antibacterial?
kills germs.
I think it does.
Okay.
Straight up kills germs. Like
I mean,
it
the
says
sen-
99%.
Yeah.
99%. It
has-
kills 1,000%. They just say that so to not have liability from when that one germ passes. Guarantee you, none of the germs are surviving that shit.
just in
That's
case.
like nuclear bomb on germs.
That's like nuclear bomb on germs. There might be that 10
That shit is
survivors.
so bad it just makes your skin die. Too.
That's true.
Yeah, nothing's surviving that.
Nothing
But they
survives
probably
that
grow back
hole.
stronger. So
You
I
give and you
think
take.
hand sanitizer is pretty. I try to avoid that. Even though it dries out your skin like crazy.
I mean, the
But
sensation is
I mean-
completely different too.
If you're gonna be like making unseasoned chicken and and you don't have any water, then I guess you gotta do what you gotta do.
You gotta do what you
Other
gotta
than that, I
do.
would pretty much never use hand sanitizer.
You gotta do what you gotta do. That's true. You got any more pet peeves?
Yeah. What else you got here? That was a good one. That was a good one.
Shoot, I don't think I have any more like pet peeves except for like word pet peeves. Like, why do we park on the driveway but we drive on the parkway?
Oh, that shit.
Park on the driveway. We drive on the parkway.
Yeah.
Yeah, the driveway's hella short. You just park on it. It's not useful for driving on it at all.
Yeah.
Yeah. Why don't we park on
Then
the parkway?
The Grand Parkway is long as fuck. You can't park on that shit without getting towed.
You would have to park on the shoulder.
I don't understand where did the name come from. We got
It's like a bunch of, like-
etymology bullshit now.
Like a lot of like naming shit is just fucked.
we're
You
gonna
know?
Yeah.
we're gonna look this up on the Google. Let me use my new iPhone.
Like, why is it red? Why do I read something but it's red and it's spelled the same way?
Why do we park on the driveway? Okay, why do we drive on the parkway?
Dude, it's
Oh
over.
shoot, I didn't have it. All right, bet.
Are you plugging his headphones in? Game on.
I don't think I have internet. Okay, Siri. Why do we drive on the parkway? Oh, service here is.
Oh, okay. We can use
Use
my phone.
Oh, actually, wait, no,
Fuck
don't.
Siri, I'll tell you why.
Don't use that.
Don't need
Actually.
that. I am Google.
I am Google. Here, let's hear it. Let's hear
Okay.
it.
It's probably because Mario Kart. So like, Mario Kart's Japanese, right? So there's probably lost in translation somewhere.
because there's the Rainbow Road. There's probably like the Poo Poo Parkway. I don't know whatever. I don't know what maps they had, but like U.S. probably designing the roads and was like, oh, it's called Parkway. Okay, bad. But they're like, shit, that's not the right language.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know. I just came up with that. If you didn't know, but like, what do y'all think?
What do I think?
I think it's definitely that. Like, I think Mario Kart existed before the English language existed.
For sure. You know,
Oh, I just thought it existed before like the road system existed.
Oh.
The inspiration of the U.S. roads, like the traffic system and stuff. Otherwise, why is there literally like doo-doo everywhere on the street? Potholes everywhere. Like they had to be inspired by Mario Kart.
Yeah, you're right. No,
You're right.
Falling off the bridge. And shit.
Life imitates art.
You're right. I actually agree with this now.
Dude, this guy has the biggest brain of us all.
Yeah. Literally, it could be. Honestly, you probably get a better score in Mario Kart than on the driving test.
Dude, honestly, I don't know.
All right, I'm gonna pull up the rest. That wasn't even like a pet peeve. I guess it was my personal pet peeve. It's just a naming convention. But what can I do about it? Nothing.
What can I do?
You can submit a petition and get it changed in the Webster Dictionary.
Oh shoot! I had a epiphany.
Okay.
Because using a printer is a high risk, high reward action. It
How
sounds
so?
dumb, right?
How so?
Like, it doesn't
How
even,
so?
you have to elaborate now. Okay, so basically, I was doing my homework assignment, and I was like, I can either do this graph. I don't know if like this is an engineering thing. It was like basically you gotta make graphs on homework suck ass because that means you have to print something for your homework assignment. Then you can't just do it by hand, right? Or you can, but you might get a lower score. So I was like, okay, I do my graph on some graphing paper, or I do my graph on Excel. But Excel is like faster than plotting the points by hand, right? Obviously, because it calculates it for you. So you gotta think, how many points am I trying to plot? Okay, and how much time do I have? That's why using a printer is high risk, high reward. Is basically like if you're gonna go for it and you're gonna try to get a better score, you could maybe either not have ink, or like the printer's not gonna work, or you can't find a computer to print, or some shit like that. So if you're gonna do your homework on the computer and know that you're gonna have to print it out later, it's high risk, high reward, as opposed to just doing it by hand.
That's fair.
So doing it by hand,
Because
like
printers literally like is the one thing in modern technology that hasn't advanced past the Stone Age. Like it's fucking trash. Like I don't know. All the technology's going towards like making apps and shit. Like people need to start opening like companies making better printers. 'Cause printers, they like
That's
work
true.
half the time.
my printers fail. My printer always fails me.
They
Bro,
always fail.
yeah, it
shit
does.
never works. Like,
Yeah.
dude,
I just have to go to the GDC.
why aren't we funding this shit?
Why are we funding this shit, dude?
Where's your FBI guy? Listen up.
Okay, I don't know. I don't want to call him out, but
You know,
Yeah,
you're not doing
he
your
knows,
job.
he knows,
He knows now. Yeah.
one thing I also realized was like, Face ID doesn't recognize the twin of the Face ID owner.
Really?
I actually did not know that.
I didn't know that.
But we fuck up sometimes. So isn't this like basically a precursor of like robots replacing us? Like they recognize us more than we can recognize each other. Like
Okay.
I look
that's-
at two twins and I'm like I can't tell the difference, but Face ID can. So
Shit.
we're fucked. Like they're getting better at things that only humans were able to do before.
Okay, it's over.
Yeah.
So that's why we should stop our AI research development.
Yeah, Boston.
directed towards printers.
Directed toward printers.
Fucking
You're right.
Boston Dynamics, shut your shit down. Get this dog robot shit out of commission.
Oh, I seen that.
Yeah.
When they kicked it,
And then it
it was
resisted.
oh my gosh.
Dude. Or there was this one crazy one where it's like Google had an intelligent voice assistant. And like you could not tell the difference between her voice and the actual human being's voice. Because she like had the right number of pauses and she said and you're just like, oh, like the person
sounds like a person.
yeah, like she was calling to make like a haircut appointment and
It's over.
the person just like had no idea he was talking to like an AI. And I was just like,
That's
we're,
crazy.
We're donezo. Yeah.
The technology in like certain fields is getting really crazy. Like deepfake technology is pretty fucking crazy now too.
That's true. You can see like Obama saying like some like cursing shit or whatever, and
Yeah,
you're
you
just
can
like,
literally fake anything on deepfakes. It's crazy.
that means you can't trust the internet. Once
Bruh.
again.
Yeah, if you see like a speech given by, but I mean, because that has to have some source material too, so you can eventually find the original thing that they deepfake the face onto, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think if
So
you
then
if you try hard enough, but if it's like an unsuspecting like housewife or something, like you fucked her whole family over, you know, like she's gonna be donating like $4 million to like this unknown charity because of this deepfake. So you really have no
She
idea.
has $4 million to donate. Like, That's
I mean,
crazy.
she's a housewife.
Housewife ain't got $4 million.
Her husband has $4 million.
Dude, think about this.
She not donating $4 million without permission.
Yeah, nobody's donating that much money.
Who's letting-
Elon Musk only donated $1 million to Team Trees, dude. Think about that.
You can't accidentally
true, that's
donate
true.
$4 million.
You're right. I'm trolling. But you know,
Bro, that's
you
the
never
bank
know.
is gonna decline that.
That's true. The bank's gonna be like, I think there's some fraudulent activity on your account.
No, but what do you know about deepfakes? Because like,
I only know very
technologies,
base
yeah.
knowledge.
I mean, I
don't even know how they do it, but I think it's like they have to find a lot of samples of the person they're trying to project onto the face.
Also
But they don't
heard-
need that much source material.
have you
for,
seen,
like, the thing that they're trying to recreate?
I just heard also something about like motion tracking, like technology used in tandem with that, because like, you know how like they used to like CGI like some stupid shit, like you know how like CGI like mustache off and it looks like really off, but then they use deepfakes in tandem with motion tracking to get it like perfectly synced up.
Or have you heard of CG? Like, do you know how like for some film they're trying to like just have the CGI actor do it? Like,
Yeah.
they're recreating like a dead actor. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, it's entirely possible.
yeah, no, like it's
It's
not.
actually so easy for them to do.
Yeah, so like
Yeah.
that's what they're doing now, and there's like a wave of criticism because like you're just literally
Making money off dead actors.
making money off of dead actors. You're also not letting new content, new stories come up because of that. But
I
think that's like
see a deepfake actor. That's stupid.
that's like in tandem with
That's stupid
this
because
kind of
the
shit,
point
you
of
know?
an actor is not their face; it's their acting skills.
I mean, it was back then. I don't know about now.
Now it's like the personality.
Now I think
like,
you're
you
attached-
can make a movie big if you just attach a big actor's
Yeah.
name to it.
Like, have you heard of The Irishman? It's a film by
Maybe.
Talking
Martin
about Conor
Scorsese.
McGregor.
I mean, he is an Irish man. There's like a film called The Irishman by Martin Scorsese, and it's just like a gangster film over generations. And basically, what they do is they take like Robert De Niro, and like they use like CGI de-aging. So like part of the film will be him in the 20s, him like in his 40s, and like him in his 80s, and like
Oh, this is like what they did with Will Smith and Gemini Man.
yeah. Except I heard this film is actually good. But yeah.
I don't know. I just feel like it wouldn't work because part of the actor is like their ability to deliver their lines in the way that is. So unless they can replicate that, even if their face is the same, it's not going to be the same. The body's got to be the same too. So it's just going to be like.
I think for CGI though is like, I don't even know if they need an actor. Like they might just be taking old clips. Like you know what they're doing.
Voice clips.
Yeah, they might if they have a
Well, if
very.
that's the case, then it's basically the same.
If they
I
have
mean,
a-
for CGI, if you're making a CGI model, you also need they need to like map the movement. Like they have just
Maybe
a
they
random
do.
person come on and
Maybe
like map the
they do need
movement.
like a movement, like kind of what Andy Serkis does with like when he plays like an ape or something. Maybe I actually have no idea, but it is a little disturbing because I don't know what they can do.
I
with
think
that
the
technology.
technology is going to be used for good. Anytime it's used for like something stupid like that, like people aren't going to buy it.
Hopefully, I mean you never know what
I'm not watching
conspiracy shit.
like dead
we'll see.
actors deep fake, starring dead actors but as a deep fake, like starring, I don't know, Johnny Depp, but like being played by another like small name actor, and then like as his body double, like that's dumb.
What
But
if
then
they
he's gonna be
lie?
delivering the lines too. It's just gonna be bad.
Like you're not getting what you're paying for almost because you're paying to see that headliner actor, but it's really just another actor with their face.
But what if they lie to you about it? They say
Oh,
it is
in
the
that case,
headliner.
well, then you're fucked. I mean,
Yeah,
you wouldn't because like
you have no idea.
the average person like me is not gonna be able to tell like oh this was fake because normally his cadence is not like that. I just feel like that's wrong though.
Yeah.
They can't get away with that. Come on, that's literally
Dude,
I mean,
Reddit's
you
gonna
really
fucking
can't.
tear you apart.
But,
That's literally fraud.
They're gonna get away with it until they get caught, I guess.
Dude, Reddit's gonna tear you apart. They're gonna do the
Yeah.
frame
You
by
can get
frame
away with
analysis.
a dead person playing. They're like, how did they get this dead person to act? Nobody's gonna catch on that it's a deep fake.
You never know. Some people are.
Like, what the fuck?
What the fuck?
How's Michael Jackson in this movie?
How Michael Jackson's still going platinum?
He said, "Wait, that's like he still is."
Yeah.
He is.
You know, I mean, at that point, that's you gotta examine your heart, I guess. But yeah. So we're running a little over, so I think it's time to wrap this up.
I
But-
bet.
What were your thoughts
What
on
are your
today?
thoughts on today?
It was cool. We talked about music, you know, and then we talked about pet peeves. So that's really the main things that I wanted to like prepare and bring up. But like also we just had some good organic discussions, so it's been chill.
So I like to hear.
Is there anything you want to plug like I don't know what concert you're part of or any events you want to plug, stuff like that.
No.
All right.
All right.
This man is an independent man. That's feels
He's
good.
so indie.
What am I plugging, bro?
Yeah.
I don't know if you want to plug something.
I don't know.
Even plug. I'm not anything anymore, bro. I'm just dude now.
He's just Bryan He.
Yeah.
He's just a dude.
I'm just
He's
dude
Bryan
now.
He with no titles and attachments. But yeah, thanks for listening. This was
I guess shout out to Shell. Thanks for hiring me.
all right. Shout out to Shell.
Shout out Shell.
Apply the Shell. If you're not their target demographic, still apply the Shell. They probably have a job for you somewhere. And yeah,
Catch me in NOLA, baby. Go
NOLA?
Go Pelicans.
go Pelicans.
Bro,
Yeah, he's a Saints fan.
Zion.
He's a Saints fan now.
Dude, the
No,
Saints
I'm
are kind of popping.
I'm not a Saints fan.
All right, just a
Even though they
Pelicans fan.
lost, still
Pelicans
popping.
fan. Pelicans fan.
He said basketball only.
Smoothie King Arena.
But yeah, so this is Nuanced Nonsense. We're not experts. We just like talking. And yeah, thanks for listening. Signing out.
Boom.